LB Talks here again. I'm back. I want to talk a little bit about some parenting. I have two kids, two boys. One is 6, one just turned 3. And I often get compliments from my parents, and they often tell me, "Oh, they listen to you. Oh, you don't really have to spank them, blah, blah, blah." And I'm going to give a couple reasons why they listen to me. And I'm going to give a couple reasons why, any parent can get their kids to listen to them. A lot of kids, they just respond to what the parents give them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So to begin, a lot of my parenting techniques came from a parenting book / seminars that they have for parenting, and it's called Love and Logic. I went to a Love and Logic parenting class a couple of times, and it was great. It just, as soon as the first day I went, it just clicked like that. Love and Logic. You know what I'm saying? So I've made a video about parenting before, but this time I wanted to get a little bit more in depth. As far as like my parenting techniques, I wanted to start making some films, some videos, depicting me in the act parenting. You know what I'm saying? Like me actually into it with my kids, and hopefully I can get that done sooner or later. But it's hard because I'm gonna need a extra person here, to film on the under, because I don't want them to see me holding the camera, because then it's like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I don't want to bias it out in any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But when it comes to parenting, when it comes to trying to raise productive children, the parenting style and the way that you parent is very important. The most important thing with parenting and dealing with different issues that may arise with your children is going to be just setting consequences. And the most important thing with setting consequences is you want your children to grow up knowing that based on whatever choice they make, there will be certain consequences. And these consequences can be positive or negative, okay? You want them to grow up with that instilled in them. Think about it. The kids who grow up without that being instilled in them, that they can do whatever they want, and that consequences may not occur, or that consequences don't matter, think about the consequences of that thinking pattern, or that ideology. Now, when it comes to these consequences, there's different types of consequences in the world, different types of consequences when it comes to parenting. Like, when it comes to parenting, you have natural consequences. Natural consequences are the consequences, for example, like if I drop this cup of tea on the ground right now. If I drop this cup of tea on the ground, natural consequences for me is it may stain my carpet. And I don't want my carpet stained, you know what I'm saying? And so that would be my punishment. So for example, like a kid who has a toy, and he constantly throws his toys around and things like that, doesn't treat his toy right. When the toy breaks, that's a natural consequence that the toy broke. And the kid may be upset about that or whatnot, or may be upset that the toy doesn't operate like it should. So that's a natural consequence where the parent does not need to intervene. But when we have certain things like, I'm going to say, a kid who gets down from the table and leaves his plate on the table. Most parents want to get to a point where their kid can be independent enough, at a certain age, to take his plate off the table, put it in the sink, whatever, empty it in the trash, whatever. So in that instant, this is what I do. Because you have to intervene and create a consequence in this situation. Okay? Because there is no natural consequence for that. If he leaves his plate on the table when he goes in the room and plays, there's no consequence. And if you just clean the plate up and put it in the sink or whatnot, you've just eliminated a chance you had to set a consequence and to teach your kid that there's consequences for his behavior. Okay, so simply in my household, once they leave the plate on the table, I'm gonna say either you can take the plate off the table, or I'm gonna take one of your Wii controllers. Simple as that. He's gonna get up and he's gonna clear that table. But he only does that because he knows that through time, at least I'm gonna say 90% of the time, his daddy means what he says and is going to do what he says he's going to do. Okay? So it's as simple as that. Or you can go to where you can say, every time you leave your pay on the table, I'm going to take 10 minutes off your playing time, your free time, okay, or whatever it is. Every household is going to differ depending on what they have, playing time, movie time, things like that, okay? So I gave you an example of a natural consequence. Then I gave you an example where you would have to instill your own consequence. And number three, another situation is going to be when a child's natural consequence is going to be too dangerous for the child. Okay, so when the child's natural consequence can be too dangerous for the child, you must instill your own consequence before that other choice becomes a danger to him. Okay, so just a little example I wanted to put out there. I'm gonna say one more thing that when it comes to setting these consequences and not setting these consequences, it's like, okay, if you just do it every once in a while, it's like, just think of it as a check system. You know what I'm saying? So think of it as he got away with it on this one. Think of it as so he gets away with it, or you were able to set a constructive consequence to teach him a lesson about consequences. So if 50% of the time he's getting away with things and 50% of the time you're setting consequences and doing it the right way, 50-50, think about those odds. He's still going to test you if it's 50-50. He's still going to test you because he still feels like he has a chance to overcome or get his way. Okay? So that's why I say that parents need to at least get this done 80-90% of the time, to where the child gets to a point where when you say something that you may take something away, blah, 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 he believes you, he or she believes you, and they're going to get it done instantaneously.